or presents Spanakopita.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
Spanakopita.
Spanakopita!
We usually don't say the name.
We don't. That's also
Spanakopita!
it's the catchphrase.
Hey, Spanakopita. Brock delivery is very good. Hey, Spanakopita.
Oh man, I love Brock telling Hatred don't go chasing waterfalls.
The Brock stuff in this episode is really good. I love this episode.
It's so good. Light on jokes, but it's good.
It's one of my favorites. Like this is one of my favorite. I don't even know if I think it's light on jokes. I like the jokes in this episode a lot. This is one of my favorites. Yeah, actually, consistently makes me smile.
Yeah, it's just a good concept. I like how Rusty centric it is, and I just really enjoy like the place that it occupies in the universe.
It's very sweethearted.
Yeah.
This joke or this episode, I think. This is a Jackson Public joint. Originally aired on June 23rd, 2013. This is about the Avengers' annual vacation to a Greek island for a festival called Spanakopita.
Yeah.
He's been going since he was young.
Yeah, to this small little island that is modeled after just one of those just little pumice mines that dots the Greek coast. A
specific one. This was research that Jackson did on a very because there are all these little Greek islands that have like 20 people who live on them. Yeah, one has a pumice mine. Thus, that is why there's pumice in this.
Yes. I also like that this has been happening every year and we've just not seen it or heard about it because there was never an episode that took place on that day.
It's so weird how much attention is paid to that in the book and the commentary when that happens constantly on the show.
It does.
Like we didn't know about the boys doing their Halloween prank until the Halloween episode.
Yeah.
You know, no shit. Like the commentary and book stuff on this episode is weird to me a little bit. Like talk about that in a moment. But like it rubbed me the wrong way in the commentary. Doc constantly, or not in the commentary, in the book, Doc constantly just being like, if I had done this episode, it'd be this way.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, come on, man.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, cool. Good. Like, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't see what I see in Spanakopita.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's definitely a standout. Partially because Spanakopita is a big hoax. It's not it's a real thing. It's a pastry, it is a dish, but it's not a festival, it's not they point out like it's not a harvest because nothing really grows here. It's put on for Rusty's benefit for very sad reasons related to his terrible childhood.
Yes. Billy and Peter in this episode as well. This is their second because they snuck into his compound. This is another the second chapter in their ongoing arch with Augustus St.
Yes.
The first one that was written, though, this is the first episode written for St. Cloud.
Yeah. And they were feeling him out as this, just petty, oblivious man who, shows up and ruins things by throwing his money around.
Yes. This, like many episodes, is born of an in-joke that they came up with when they were writing the season 4 finale, which is just them hearing the word Spanakopita and pretending it was a festival. Like, you going to Spanakopita this year? That's it. And then they just kind of joked the episode out.
Yes. Yeah. They said this is the fastest that they ever came up with a whole concept for an episode. Yeah.
There's a lot of research in this. The scene, the flashback where all the research comes together is great. Just like what a great little coincidence. And also an appearance of Elron. Elron is great. He flies away as a ghost. Like there's so many little bits of this that are just little animation grace notes that crack me up. That and Pete White setting fire for a second makes me bust a gut. Like I think that's a very funny little bit.
I just love that they're
very well edited.
I just love that they're pinned out like it's the end of Blade, or that one notable scene in Blade. It's not
a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Real good. And that stuff. There's also a sequence break, the first time since we had the deaf translator. from the season 1, we have a section that is done in stop motion.
Yeah. Specifically,
which again is also pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is done in the style of the Ray Harryhausen stop motion, specifically from Clash of the Titans, which is worked in here. It is Billy has a dream, and we get stop motion St. Cloud. We get stop motion Rusty as the Medusa's head. It's
Curiosen's a friend.
And they worked with the robot chicken people to accomplish this, and it looks pretty good.
Robot chicken people sound so different than what it actually is.
Yes.
Like they're the robot chicken people.
Here they come.
Yeah. That sequence was really tough. Doc was over his head. It took him forever to make this work.
Yeah. Stop motion's hard.
So a lot of work. Stop motion is hard. Maybe that is why he is, feels more down on this episode.
Yeah.
There's the other thing that came through that made me feel like tension from the boys.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me of the commentary and book part for Venture Libre, where the whole thing is just Doc just being like, why would you ever want to write for Venturestein?
Yeah.
It's him just constantly like, why would you ever want to write for Helper?
Oh,
like, why would you ever want to do that? And I'm like, because Helper's great. What's wrong with you?
Helper's a joy. Come on, man.
Yeah. He's great in this episode. Like all of that stuff that he's saying he doesn't want to write is just like so good in this.
Mm-hmm.
I love James Urbaniak's young Rusty voice.
Mm-hmm.
And you be the Trojans. Like the little declarative, like little kid voice is so well observed.
Yeah.
This episode is pure joy to me. I don't want to oversell it, but it's one of my favorites. And certainly for me, a big bright spot in season 5.
Yeah. And a series highlight too. Yeah.
I agree. This would be in my top 10 episodes of the show, very easily, I think. Yeah.
Well, as a series highlight, I think it definitely sticks out high because it does kind of get back to the emotional core of it. To a certain degree, just the artifice that like the artifice and like the scar tissue that builds around, somebody who lived this, life that began horribly and now they're not kind of living up to their potential,
100%.
And just the structure that comes up and helps them cope with it,
It's that, and it's it not being concerned with the ongoing subplots of monarch machinations and stuff.
Yeah,
it has a self-contained nature to it that is just about Doc's character that I really appreciate.
Yeah, well, also like this concerns itself with the actions of old Team Venture as well. So like, so it is part of like a broader thing, but it's just a broader thing that we don't get an awful lot of at this point in the series.
Yeah, and that having watched the rest of the series, I know that the creators eventually end up having less interest in.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to talking about the Blue Morpho stuff because like there are things in that I really, really like. But going back and revisiting the series and seeing like when the show used to be about more than, it didn't focus on that quite as hard has been really refreshing.
Yeah.
To me, that felt very exciting when it first came up. But now I kind of miss the classic Doc stuff.
Yeah.
So love Doc. We open up with this cold open with old Team Venture diving for treasure off the coast of this island. Rusty is just playing. He's supposed to be studying, but he's playing with Helper as the Minotaur, which is really cute. And they're all going to leave to Jackie O's wedding. Yeah, that is going on this island.
Jacqueline Kennedy marrying the James Bond villain Aristotle Onassis, who owns
Aristotle.
He owns an island called Scorpios.
Yep, incredibly good.
Yeah.
And just incredibly cruel. Like he's on this vacation and it's like you have to read Plato's Republic chapters 1 through 4
while we go off and carouse. Yeah.
Don't wait up for dad. Just leaving the robot to watch him. We go to the present day. This is Rusty showing Pete and Billy a slideshow of his trips.
Yeah.
Saying like, hey, 2 tickets just opened up. You get to get fun in the sun in Spanakos. Come to Spanakopita.
Yeah. And he's trying to sell them on like, it'll be a wild party vacation time. And the way that he says it is, you might even say I had my first solo adventure there. And it's unclear if it's a euphemism.
Well, like call him out on it. Pete's like, is that a euphemism? He's like, don't be crass. Like, well, what did you mean? Yeah. Hank and Dean are not going. Dean for mopey reasons, and Hank because he's still wearing the suit. He's got to do band stuff.
Yep.
I love him just sitting, with his legs crossed, like he's wearing the suit. He sits like a woman.
Yep. Oh man. Doc offers Pete and Billy some more Docktails. We get an appearance of the Hot Mummy and the Slim Jim Fizz.
Slim Jim Fizz, which is a gin fizz with a Slim Jim in it.
With shaved Slim Jim in it. Oh.
Yeah, I love Pete just being like, still working on my first.
You had a Slim Jim recently?
I've had a Slim Jim. It's been more than a year, but less than 3 years.
Yeah.
Not to give you a riddle, but it's probably somewhere in
it's an easy riddle too. Probably 2 years ago.
Within that zone. I'm just trying to think of the last time I had one. They're real weird. There's a lot of heart and bone ground up in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And just that snap is provided by like a real thick skin on them, Just I went at my parents' house because I was staying over at my parents' house to help watch, be around for my grandma while they were away. And they had some in the snack drawer, and I was like, damn, a Slim Jim. It's been a while. And you can definitely peel a Slim Jim.
It's like a summer sausage for kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a way. Yeah, they're really bizarre. I'm trying to remember. Part of the reason why I was unsure about when the last time I had one is because I'm trying to remember why I had one. This is like I don't remember. I bought a summer sausage recently.
Okay,
summer sausage.
Yeah.
Which is the sausage they make with citric acid. To make it last. And I was curious. I was like, I never cooked up a summer sausage. What if I fried this up? I rendered more fat out of a summer sausage than the thickest bacon I've ever cooked.
Oh, it's vile. Yeah.
If you put a summer sausage in a pan, you basically have an unlimited, a doorway to the elemental plane of grease.
Yep. But really sour grease,
Yes. Sour citrusy grease.
Yeah. I got a summer sausage because there was just one on sale, and I was like, oh, just to be nice to cut that up and eat with some cheese and crackers or whatever. And but when I brought it into my house where it was just me and God, I realized, oh, there's a reason why these only show up at parties, because you only want 2 or 3 slices off of this. This needs to be laundered through 20 other people in order to make it go away.
It is a share-in food.
Yeah.
And just having it in the fridge and you just take bites out of it every once in a while, which is what I did, is sad.
It's pretty grim.
Yeah. It's kind of a grim existence.
Yeah. Pete's trying to get out of going. He says he's got to stay around for the gravy. There's a shallow gravy gig going on. He claims he's their manager, but they say, hey, you're actually just the producer. He's really just trying to get out of it because as an albino, he does not want to go to an island where he's going to be in the sun, which is a practical concern.
Yeah. Do I have to spell it out for you? I'm an albino. This is not a fashion choice.
Yes.
As he's kind of going on this rant, we cut outside to where Bubo the owl, also from Clash of the Titans, is watching him through the window, and that's our little dun 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 dun.
They're being spied on. I fucking love Bubo the owl.
Bubo is great.
Just it's hilarious. We watched Clash of the Titans it was either late middle school or early high school English class. As we were, covering Greek myth or whatever. That movie couldn't have anything less to do with classical myth.
It is a pretty, it's like how we used to watch Toy Story all the time as a kid in school.
Yeah.
It's not really, the educational value is pretty dubious. I like Bubo as a precursor to The Last Express.
Yes.
I was looking at it when I watched this episode. I was like, well, yeah, Bubo. And I was looking around. You can buy, I was like, I would like a Bubo replica. They're $300, but they're real nice looking.
That is a weird, that's expensive for just a thing that'll end up on a shelf, but also it's not as much as I would expect.
I could almost see it being more than that. I'm not going to pay $300 for a life-size Bubo.
No.
But $300 for a life-size working Bubo? Yes.
Yeah.
a sentient bubo? Yes.
That could be my friend.
Like, yeah. A roommate bubo? Yes. I'm in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So this is obviously Augustus St. Cloud. And we cut over, the X1 arrives on the coast of the island. Rusty's expecting a crowd, but none is there. Instead, all that is there to greet him is the X2, the hydrofoil. He believes that it is JJ who is here, but it is not.
No. JJ's still in space doing Gargantua too. Pete is dressed up in the Marlon Brando outfit from
Dr. Moreau.
Dr. Moreau, yeah. The big wide brimmed hat and like weird white Star Trek ambassador gown. And Billy's talking to him. He's like, we're not near the equator. It's on the same latitude as Virginia. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Hatred's got his Hawaiian shirt. Everyone's in summer wear.
Yeah. Like Rusty in his linen suit. Yeah. Rusty tells Hatred, it gives a bit of the backstory. He found this place after getting lost at sea and washing on shore during the festival.
Yeah. Not quite true.
Yeah.
Billy's like, I couldn't find anything about this festival on the island. And Rusty's like, that's because they don't have internet here, which doesn't make any sense. They call this out.
Yeah.
But it's clearly just like this rural area where nothing's going on. When they get there, he meets Yorgos. I love he never calls him. He calls him Georgios every single time. His usual room has been rented out by some rich American who came in the X2, not St. Cloud.
Yes.
Or not Jonas 2, it's St. Cloud.
Yes.
So we get a great Billy like, St. Cloud!
Yeah. And he says like, I bought the original X2. And Billy, I gotcha, buddy. That's not the original X2. It blew up in 1968. It was rebuilt.
Yep.
We're going to see how it got destroyed.
Yeah. And he's like, of course I know that there. He's just here to ruin the vacation.
Yeah.
As an arch enemy.
Yeah.
Which is very cute.
That's the stakes that he plays. He just wants to make sure somebody doesn't have a good vacation. So Hatred is suspicious. He takes the baggage up to the new room, to this Imperial suite, which is only $200 more, and he is shocked to see that Rusty has been gagged and blindfolded and tied to a chair, and there are a bunch of dudes around him, and Hatred goes all Brock on them. He's the bodyguard, right?
Yeah, he beats him up.
Yeah.
Rusty stops him. He's like, hey, this is just the traditional welcoming ceremony for Spanakopita. And all the dudes who are beat up all go, Spanakopita, which is happens whenever anyone says anything in this. It's very similar to the Sphinx thing with shore leave. But I don't mind that they do it again because I like it.
Yes.
And
I like how people gradually lose enthusiasm for it as the episode goes.
Yes. Just the different deliveries of it.
Yes.
Are very good.
Yeah.
I like on the commentary, they talk about how people have started, doing that to them, and they like it because it's a replacement for Go Team Venture or Ignore Me, which is what people yelled at them.
Yeah. Anything that somebody yelled at me in public would be a bit much.
Yeah. I don't want to get yelled at.
No. No. Yeah, St. Cloud. He is envious of the full chair treatment, so he's starting to throw money around. Nobody should get something that he is unable to have. So that night, I love this line and I love this conversation because they're just sitting out drinking, and Pete and Billy are talking about it's really weird to see Rusty happy. It's actually pretty creepy because that dude don't smile because he doesn't really have a reason to.
There's a lot of him just dancing and grooving in this episode. Again, I really love it. I love Happy Rusty. Pete says, hey, Billy, next time when you put the zinc on me, you have to leave a bear patch or I'm going to suffocate. Oh, that's an urban legend. Well, didn't you see Goldfinger? And then St. Cloud's like, speaking of Goldfinger, and it comes up in the Goldfinger pool outfit. And I love, one of the St. Cloud Billy things I love is just how angry Billy gets. This belongs in a museum. He just gets so furious.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Goldfinger's pool outfit should be available for everybody. It's part of a shared cultural heritage. God damn it.
It's such a weird, specific little pool. This is Satrid's getting these building suspicions. He sees some hospitality workers carrying something being kind of secretive. And Yorgos kind of stops and gets in front of him and says the games are starting tomorrow.
Yes. Yeah. And, we're going to be competing for the Spanakopita crown. And St. Cloud says, oh, I'll just buy that. But no, you have to win it. Crown? It must be won. The St. Cloud is going to make Rusty a bet. And this is, the stakes for the episode. And this weird, like, summer camp, decathlon kind of thing that they have going on in this episode, which is if Rusty wins, he'll get $1 million. He doesn't have $1 million to give. So if St. Cloud wins, he gets the X1. And also St. Cloud is just planning on buying Spanakopita, just buying the island and denying him.
Yeah. To be a dick.
Yeah.
The first event is the running of the goats. The winners are given drachmas, and whoever has the most at the end of the festival wins. So Rusty's, playing fair. Everybody's playing fair here, except for St. Cloud, who cheats by riding his PY dressed as a ninja going parkour, making him do all these jumps.
Poor PY.
Rusty also cheats to get past it, taking this shortcut, but then they blow a flute that he has here, which calls the goats back to trample Rusty.
Yeah.
And St. Cloud's like, if you want to fix a horse race, you had to buy all the horses.
Yeah. Or learn the magic cheat code on this pan flute to bring them back.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that the goats are commanded by a pan flute, but it's okay.
So it's nighttime. Rusty demands, like, hey, Pete and Billy, you need to deal with this asshole. He's ruining my vacation, and he's your arch. Like, he's only here because of you, right? Yeah. He can't do anything because St. Cloud is pretty much the only thing keeping him afloat. Remember that St. Cloud is his best customer. Yeah.
I love this little bit too, where he's like, you guys figure it out or you're walking home. He's like, so you genius, you bet the X1. Fucking idiot. Real good stuff.
Yeah.
And Rusty has this pumice stone that he has, and he's like, because the next event is pumice carving. There's a pumice mine there. Bubo is spying and sees this, so St. Cloud can get an edge in a Squid Game-esque, finding out what the next game is.
Yeah.
A little bit of intrigue.
Yeah. So it's the next day. Rusty and the others are going to go out sponge diving. This is the next event here. Hatred's going to stay behind. He says, the old cigars can't really do a lot of diving, but he's gonna start doing some investigating. Something's obviously going on here.
Yeah. He calls Brock, and everything about this conversation I really like. Brock just answers going, why you call me, man? It's like, yeah, I'm at this Spanakopita thing. Oh, yeah, Spanakopita. Like, the way that this dynamic works is so good. It's really well observed. And, he's just like, just let it go. Whatever you're thinking, just let it go. Let me ask you, is Rusty happy? If so, just let it go. Don't go chasing waterfalls. And then all the women who show up with their little brocklings. They're broccoli florets.
Yep. Just kids of different ages, all of them with curly blonde
mullets. Sad. Brock. Is that Brock? I was goofing around with my girlfriend, and I got the phrase, we were talking about tamales.
Okay.
And I was talking about how my favorite tamales are ones that, like, an old lady comes up and sells you from a cart. And I got the phrase abuelo rancheros stuck in my head.
Abuelos rancheros. They're called country grandpas.
Thinking of like a carton of eggs with a picture of an abuelos on the front. Abuela. And then inside are all the eggs with abuela. And you like cook them and they're just like, porque? As you are making them. Well, Dios mío. As you like make the eggs of the abuela. And it just like really cracked me up.
Grim.
It's the accent reminded me of that.
Grim.
Very grim, but it's also like grandma eggs. It's not real.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
there's no such thing. A grandma can't hurt me. This one can.
I'm more worried about hurting the egg grandma.
Grandma's fine.
Egg grandma's good. She'll be okay. She's going to be okay. Yeah. Oh man! But when Brock figures out, it's like, yeah, who's that? I gotta go. Losing transmission. It's gotta go away. And the art book, I like how they saw. Brock is known to take. He doesn't check in on his lovers, and honestly, calling them lovers is being really generous to Brock.
And of course, that's what Brock would do. Is
Yeah.
he'd just go off and get laid, while all this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And Brock's not going to wear a condom. It feels like snow pants. Like what Brock's going to put on a condom.
Come on. You blow right through it.
Go to the water, do the sponge diving thing. I like how Rusty strips down completely naked. And there's a lot of just, people like,
Well, everybody winces when he drops trout. And then when he bends over to dive, they wince again.
You can imagine it.
Yeah.
Like, I ended up watching this on Hulu for convenience. So I don't know if they uncensored it on the DVD, but
yeah, I didn't see. I also watched it on Hulu. Yeah. So everybody's underwater, and St. Cloud has cheated. He has POI waiting for him down there on the seafloor with a bunch of sponges in a big old net bag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's cheated. He wins again.
Yeah.
They show old Team Venture as the Greek gods looking down on Mount Olympus, and they're upset. Rusty seems to be having fun. Mm-hmm. This is a problem.
Yes.
This is all a dream sequence about how Rusty's vacation is getting ruined.
Yeah, and this is Billy having this dream, which is weird. Yeah, and so they need to release the Kraken, and this is where we get the Kraken is the big stop motion Augustus St. Cloud. And we get stop motion Billy riding on Pete as the Pegasus, and Billy even Pete remarks it's weird.
Billy and Pete are animated.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah. Just this is a mixed media thing. It's really neat.
Yeah.
Here, he's like, hey, buddy, mount me. Like I'm a Pegasus. It's very good.
It's your dream.
I love St. Cloud as the Kraken, where they just have him say it and he goes, "Here he goes, a friend," just kind of under his breath.
Yeah.
Here.
Rusty is the Medusa head saying like, save my vacation. And St. Cloud reflects the Medusa beam back with his big reflective drachma. And then everything's all mixed up. Pete starts flying them toward the sun and melting. Billy's like, no, that's the wrong myth. Stop this. It's not holding together. And then he wakes up and he has figured out how to beat St. Cloud. He knows what the source of his power is.
Yep. He wakes up on top of Pete and he's like, I know the source. He's like, a buddy. Like he was just riding him like a horse in his sleep, which is cute.
Yeah.
And funny. So Hatred hears this gunshot outside. So he grabs his gun and goes outside to investigate. Walking by St. Cloud's room. There's a lot of like kind of gay panic stuff in this, but it's stuff that works for me.
Okay.
It's just double entendre stuff. Like this whole bit about it kind of seems like PY is sucking off St. Cloud.
Yeah.
But, and the stuff with, Billy on top of Pete's back in the night and stuff like that. Like it just kind of, the reactions end up feeling real in a way that makes me laugh. Like it's not smart humor.
It's also not lingered on, Like,
yeah. And it's not hateful. There's like no hate to it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, if let's say PY was really blowing St. Cloud, like, yes, that would be troublesome if the joke was that they're gay. I think the joke would more be that he's an albino that he owns.
Right.
That he's making blow him. Like, I think that would be the more troubling part of it.
And also like it would be socially uncomfortable to just walk by a room where there was, heterosexual oral going on. Just
if PY was a girl, it wouldn't make it like better.
Yeah.
It's about the intrusion on privacy in all the cases of this joke, as opposed to the fact that it's not heteronormative.
Yeah.
Right? Like riding somebody in their sleep because you were riding them as a Pegasus in a dream is funny regardless of the genders involved.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not lingered on, just that didn't even stick out to me, really.
It just this third time it showed up in short succccession in the notes, it kind of made me think of it.
Yeah, but I do like that St. Cloud is having abs airbrushed onto him.
His little Roman gladiator outfit.
Yeah.
There.
So Pete and Billy, they're headed out. They've rode to the X2. And Billy explains, hey, St. Cloud's power is his money. If we take that away from him, if we take away his stash of drachmas, we can win, right?
Yes. Yeah. They rode out just because it was cooler. They could have just walked down the dock. And they get in the X2, which is full of memorabilia.
Yeah.
Of St. Cloud.
I like that Pete says it's like a floating planet Hollywood. Do we need to explain what Planet Hollywood was?
No, I think Planet Hollywood still exists.
There are not as many of them as there used to be.
No. They're still not around, but there's definitely, they're still around for sure. But there are fewer of them.
Yeah.
This is restaurants where they put Hollywood memorabilia around, like the mug from Heartbeeps. Like shows up.
Yeah.
The awful script from the cable guy.
Yep. just a big tacky chain restaurant. It's like the movie version of the Hard Rock Cafe.
Yeah.
My
favorite one of those is the one that has the rubber Sylvester Stallone from Demolition Man in it. Encased in ice. I think it's a table. You might be able to eat on that thing.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
And if not, that's a good idea.
The thing that I like about Planet Hollywood is no matter where the restaurant is located, when you walk inside, you are always in Myrtle Beach, Florida, or Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
It's fast travel.
Yep.
But it's only specific fast travel. That kind of sucks.
Yeah. But they've got all this stuff here. Some of it's, it is copyright free versions of stuff. But one of them, Pete actually points out and calls out, "Oh, that's the clown from FX2."
I've never seen FX2. I didn't know what FX2 was before I started looking into this episode.
Yeah. That was just one that was just, I think it was on the backside of like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. For me, because my stepdad was a flagrant movie pirater, and I have all these weird associations just from what movie was paired with what. Yeah.
A special effects man helps his girlfriend's ex, a cop, with a sting operation where the ex gets killed. Something's off, and he investigates with help from an ex-cop PI friend. It's like a story problem. Who is a cop and who is used to be a cop in that fucking sentence? That's the synopsis? What the fuck?
Oh, man.
This logic grid of who used to be a cop in FX2.
Every puzzle has an answer. I think
apparently there's a robotic clown in it, though.
Yeah. There's
which makes me want to see it.
There's an animatronic clown. It's not very good, but this clown comes to life and punches him out. PY is controlling it remotely. We get a very I like the choreography of this fight scene of PY and the clown simultaneously beating both of them up because it's rigged to his motions. Yeah.
Until eventually they do the thing where they dock and make them hit each other in the head. It seems like they're going to win, but St. Cloud lifts the idol from Raiders, which causes darts to hit Pete and Billy.
Yeah.
In the hatred subplot, he had followed the sounds of gunshots down in the cellar where all the inn workers are hanging out counting money and playing big buck hunter. Yorgo says, like, hey, don't shoot. I'll tell you exactly what happened with Spanakopita, the same way I did for Brock. There's really no reason why Brock didn't just tell him this.
Right,
to satisfy his curiosity.
Yeah.
But this story is great.
So it was 1968. It was the Jackie O wedding, right? So we know that. But it was a bad year for the island. The people here, they were starving, so they resorted to piracy. They knew that there's this big event going on, and they had all these docks. All these yachts docked, relatively nearby, so they were going to go and steal from them, right?
Yeah. These rich Americans coming and doing tourism here is very insulting to real people who are poor who live here, and that kind of thing happens all the time.
Yeah.
Rusty's on the boat, and again, I love young Rusty delivery. Like, this will be the horse, and you be the Trojan. That little kid voice. He crawls into this chest. The pirates come, they beat up Helper, and they take the chest thinking it's full of money, but really it's full of Rusty.
Yeah. And when they take him back and they open up the chest, they recognize him from the newspaper. So there's about all these luminaries who are coming by, and they figure, oh, his dad is super rich. We can hold him for ransom. And they keep on trying to call him, but Jonas doesn't answer.
Yeah. Just doesn't seem to care. He's busy doing adventure stuff. It's very sad.
Yeah.
What he's doing is he's in a swashbuckling fight with Elron, which is a robotic L. Ron Hubbard, his ghost inside a robot body.
Yep.
It's great.
I think L. Ron Hubbard was still alive at this point, so it's his Thetan that has been projected to control this robot. When did L. Ron Hubbard?
Oh, he died recently. Not recently, but like 90s. He
Yeah,
died 30 years ago.
He died in 1986, so he was still alive. It was just his Thetan that was projecting into this. God, I just love all of like the lore in this. Action Man being shot with the engram gun. Oh no, engrams! Oh man.
And then Hubbard mocks Jonas, saying, this wedding raid was just a distraction. He points to the thing on his lapel about Apollo 7, which is the mission going on, the splashing out in the day. That day. His ghost just flies away, his little Thetan, which is very funny. And the Colonel Gentleman's like, Wally's on that mission. Referring to Wally Schirra, the threesome he had with Gore Vidal and Wally Schirra, the astronaut.
Yeah. And so like, I love the serendipity of that. The Jackie O wedding is happening on the same day as the Apollo 7 splashdown, which also happened to involve this astronaut they just joked about kind of being part of this world. Yeah.
Just a random Colonel Gentleman tryst.
Yeah.
Just really, really good. And I'm definitely there for L. Ron Hubbard.
Yep.
Humor. That guy, believing in all kinds of weird fucking magics. Funny to me.
Yeah. The Behind the Bastard series on L. Ron is really good. They've done a whole bunch of runs on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I should definitely check that out.
Yeah.
I find that man fascinating as a villain. Did you ever see The Master?
No, I haven't. That's been on my list because I love L. Ron, fascinating figure, and Philip Seymour Hoffman's one of my favorite actors. So there's no reason I haven't seen it.
Performances in that movie. I need to see it again. Like, it's not like, plot wise, it's no There Will Be Blood, but just the performances are just fucking really, really good. Philip Seymour Hoffman does incredible work in that movie. Yeah.
There's no reason why I haven't seen it. It is absolutely a movie I should have watched given my proclivities, but I just never fired it up. Yeah.
It also is in the subcategory of The Lighthouse where people drink monkey pump. Like they drink like ship fuel at some point. Like, if people just drinking things you're not supposed to drink to get drunk. But yeah, I love this little flashback. So they keep trying to, the idea of just a ransom not being answered.
Yeah,
it's so sad. And Rusty starts getting really upset, and they start feeling guilty. So they're like, "Hey, we're not actually going to kidnap you. Cheer up. No one should cry during Spanakopita."
And they just George just looks over and sees somebody eating a piece of Spanakopita, the spinach and feta cheese pie, right? And like, oh, just that'll be the name of our festival that we make you believe we're having, And so all of the events were just made up of stuff that was around. So like that welcoming festival of him being tied to the chair. It's like, oh yeah, we tied you to the chair when you were a kid because that's how we welcome outsiders.
Yeah. It's very adorable.
Yeah.
And then, Rusty, when he was like 20 years later, when he's in college, his dad died. He came back because it was like a place that made him happy.
It was the most fun he ever had.
Yeah. It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Rusty, goes or Yorgos goes and shows hatred. Rusty carving a statue of himself as a kid playing with the Minotaur, with Helper Minotaur. It's so sad, like him holding on to this little moment, like it's in a snow globe.
Yeah, and it's so this is actually Rusty showing affection for Helper too, but just taking this and making a little like memorial for that fun weekend that he had, we're just going to do this in honor of the first time that I came here. Very sweet and very sentimental. And I love what Yorgos says, because he's making a good point. You would tell him there's no Spanakopita, you would break a lonely little boy's heart.
Yeah. Yeah, the lie. I mean, it turns out Yorgos's motivations are not purely altruistic, but at the same time, like,
it kind of doesn't matter. This is a
kindness, and it doesn't matter. It's a kindness, and it's a kindness on a huge scale that the whole island does.
Yeah,
yes, it's for money, but also like, there's kind of a weird emotional and almost philosophical core to this episode that doesn't show up in a lot of Venture Brothers episodes, and it's less cynical.
Yeah.
Then a lot of times the show ends up being, where, the idea that the joy that Doc is feeling is real, regardless of the trauma that bore it or the motivations behind doing it, is really core to this. And that's like something that I resonate with a lot. That's something that is very appealing to me. is probably part of my affection for this.
Yeah. And also this island figuring out that they have making this, little white lie into the cornerstone of their economy that actually helps all of them, is also pretty good. Like it doesn't matter that this is fake. It doesn't matter that it didn't happen before. It was failed piracy that actually turned out into something that helped everybody involved. Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. It's richer than maybe it initially seems.
Yeah. And it's also a weird reference to the very mediocre Chevy Chase movie Funny Farm.
Yeah, I found that very strange.
Yeah.
Like I haven't thought about, or I haven't played Funny Farm or watched Funny Farm in a really long time.
Funny
the
Farm,
NES game.
Funny Farm still in your backlog.
Yeah. The platformer. I get that movie confused with The Money Trap.
Yes.
Or The Money Pit.
Mm-hmm.
And I just because they were on the same VHS, for separate reasons,
Yep.
Stepdad concerns.
Oh man!
So Billy and Pete wake up pinned to the floor of a quarry, to this pumice mine quarry, as the sun's coming up, like Blade or like Interview the Vampire.
Yeah,
and the sun's coming up, and Pete, who we've seen in the sun, all of a sudden the stakes are that he will die if the sun hits him. I love it so much, like the panic. And Bubo eventually comes. Excuse me. Bubo comes down and frees them. It turns out it's PY because the albino code is stronger than his tie to St. Cloud.
Namaste, my friend.
Namaste, he nods. And as they escape, there's a great little bit of editing where Pete rolls out of the way of the sunbeam that sets him on fire for a second. And they cut away. There's no commentary or anything.
Yep.
Just cuts away like really quick. It's very funny.
Oh, man. So they managed to get back. And Yorgos is walking down the line of statues before declaring that St. Cloud has won. He won by having his good friend George Lucas send out a pumice carving of Han Solo frozen in carbonite. And obviously Yorgos has been bribed.
Yes. Yeah. Yorgos is like, where's our other competitors? Where's Boy Cyclops and the Ghost Man?
They were all tied up. Oh, wait, they were too burnt out to join us.
Yeah. Just trying it. Eventually Yorgos says, like, let's count up the drachmas. And PY does not have St. Cloud's drachmas because Billy shows up.
He shows up. It's like something out of like the greatest story ever told or whatever. Just here comes Moses just sweating in from the desert, carrying Pete on his back, out racing the rising sun, and he has the bag of drachmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
St. Cloud is, so this they win. St. Cloud thinks he's going to get the last laugh because he arranged to buy Spanakopita. He's going to cancel it. Rusty is very hurt by this, and Yorgos says, like, Spanakopita, we have a saying here, I basically sold him just a couple $1 million, or Hadrian says a couple $1 million worth of humble pie, humble spinach pie.
Yeah.
So he bought Spanakopita and they just sold it. Spanakopita doesn't really exist.
Yeah.
They just sold him a spinach pie.
Yeah. And Rusty isn't mad that Billy won his crown because there's always next year, right? And this is a good, credits gag, and just no fucking way. We're not coming back.
Everyone, no fucking way. We're not doing this.
Oh, and then the post credits, we get a little bit of a flashback, as the original Team Venture tries to get Rusty back. Yorgos is handed them a large bottle of olive oil to make up for the misunderstanding.
And actually, that's like I say, oil's well that ends well. like an episode of the show. Everyone laughs, and then Jonas says, okay, no, take Rusty. And we're going to repay these men for their generosity to beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
Yorgos lost his eye. He swears that he'll make Jonas pay, and it shows him in the future counting all the money.
Yeah.
St. Cloud and Rusty's money. He made him pay by, creating this festival and taking their cash every year.
Yeah.
Great episode to me.
Yeah.
It is low on like big jokes, but there's all kinds of little grace notes that still make me laugh.
Just the Wally's on that ship.
Yeah, and just the it feels so clever. Like the callback just feels so good. There,
Yeah. They just hit it and let it ring clean. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Just a joy to me. We're nearly like I will try to get ahead. I've been trying to do my podcast work for the week on Sundays.
Yep.
Sunday evening, because, winding down, there's not a whole lot going on that evening. And so I watched the show in advance. This time I rewatched this episode just for pleasure.
Yeah.
Like right before we recorded last night, just because I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
It is a real standout. Love how sweet it is. Yeah.
Look, next episode, I remember nothing about it.
What is the next one, Sphinx?
OS I Love You.
OS I Love You. Yeah. I think this is the one where the Molotov story is kind of tied off in a real weird way. It's a Brock episode.
Yeah. It's the one that does the history with the Olympics and stuff.
Yeah.
With that they hinted at, and we get to see some OSI members. We get to see Bum Rush and Tank Top and all those guys who I generally like.
Yeah. And don't worry, kids. We're going to get to Bot Seeking Bot real quick.
Bot Seeking Bot, which is real good. And we can start getting some cool guild stuff at the end of this one. Like Don Hell. All that jazz. This might be the one that introduces Snoopy, who is one of my least favorite characters on this show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still looking forward to revisiting because I don't remember very much about it. So if you like this show, head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv.
Please do. You can support us, get episodes a whole week early if you would like to, get access to whole bonus shows.
Lots of bonus shows.
Yeah.
Lots of content. And leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts or Podcast Addict. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And tell your friends.
And until next time,
go Team Venture.